Hey guys, it's me again, Orkslayer. What ifs? Where we last left off, let's see. Deku has gone to hiding. He's met with League of Villains. He's inspired. He's pretty much the original hero killer, so Stain and the others would follow by his example instead of Stain's example with how he does it. Them like forming their own ideas around why he was hunting them down. Like, they've heard about his, like, revenge and such, but at the beginning, it was more or less they hear about this guy killing heroes. And some of these heroes were known for being not very good, in a way. Like, they were much like Endeavor, in a way. That they'd stop villains, but they weren't really liked. Like, in the sense their personalities and such were terrible. Some of them guessing that maybe they were like some of the ones who were in it for fame and such. That's where Stain bases his ideals. Later, hearing that it was Deku who ended up killing them because of personal revenge against these guys and bringing his own matter of justice. And also learning that he was a vigilante before being, well, he was a vigilante as well. So a lot of these people will be incorporating, like, taking down villains and killing false heroes, quote-unquote. Now, he's also fought Tiger, fought Endeavor, and fought several heroes. Momo and them all know he's alive now. Ojiro, the tail girl, in this case, she will, instead of being, like, later on, this will just be explained now, that instead of her normal white row, like white, I forget what they're called, but her white, martial arts clothes that she wears in the anime, she wears a yellow with the black belt. Incorporating some of Deku's, like the moves Deku has taught her. Momo doing a primarily yellow color instead of a red color with black as well. Like, a few of them are the only one not doing this is Jiro, because she never really saw him fight or like was ever in training gear or anything. And Deku has finally met Shang Tsung. Now he is 17 in 4 months, so that leaves 8 months until UA starts. Deku at this point will be going around and helping people, like saving a few people and such. He like goes late at night taking down villains, and after he beats them, he takes their money, as well as doing a few jobs for some black dragons in this area. Like, he'll help Tremor a little bit, and Tremor saw him on the news. Well, Scorpion, you're famous now. Deku just staying silent most of the time. He's like you're rivaling Johnny Cage in that matter. Deku giving a laugh. He's like, Tremor going like, I enjoy his movies. Deku saying, they're pretty good, I'd say. As they just continue to go on to work with each other, Deku just being more more in the criminal world instead of the normal world. And during one of these handoffs, like with weapons and guns and money, not Deku, but the whole operation's busted down on by the Sonya Blade and Jax, with them saying, Tremor's here, go! And they try to like rush and secure the hostage. Tremor giving Deku the orders to just try and like cause chaos from above or from the shadows. As this whole thing is like just a shootout right now, Deku teleports behind the enemy lines and starts slicing down people. As Jax is like, Sonya's like, Jax, deal with... Sonya and Jax both see Deku as he's cutting through men and throws his rope spear through a guy, pulls him in, and then slices off his head. As he continues to do this, using his fire punches and such to like burn several soldiers, Jax is like, Sonya, deal with Tremor, I'll deal with this. As he comes running over, Jax like, well, Scorpion. I guess you finally I knew we should have taken you out back then. Deku saying, back then, my family wasn't dead. He's like, well, still, gotta take you in. He's like, we visited Momo a few times. As Deku, like, takes a pause for a moment, he's like, how's she doing? The Black Dragons gave up on her, but we've had a few people. Keep an eye on her. They hired another bodyguard, sort of thing. We talked to her a bit after they learned that, after we thought she might have some connections to you. She's pretty sad, but she also thinks she doesn't have an opinion, really, is what she told us. Is that as her friend, she thinks that of doing what's right by your family is good. But again, you did murder people, and you continue to murder people. Deku saying, if you see her again, tell her I said hello and I'm sorry. As he comes in to fight Jax. Jax at this point has, if I remember correctly, I said he is very strong and such, similar to not muscular, but Death Arm and Luke Cage, if you've seen that. He's strong like him, as he comes punching and kicking at Deku. Deku's blades and such not really doing anything. His skin is more resistant, and like even if he does cut him, it's a tiny little baby cut, like a cat scratch. Deku trying to figure out how the best way to do this, as he goes in to just try punch him, learning that on the inside Jax is still human, so he starts punching him with all the force he can muster. Eventually, after he cracks him in the jaw one time, finally sending that enough force through that hits that nerve, and Jax goes down. He doesn't want to kill Jax, so he just leaves him there. He makes it look like he's about to kill him, then Sonya just comes in and leg grabs him and tosses him away like, oh. Tremor's like, Deku, it's time to go. As Deku teleports out there like, whoa, teleporting away. With Sonya's like, are you okay, Jax? He's like, yeah, I'm good. Ugh. By the way, you're saying you're going to, like, Momo's going to be questioned again, isn't she? Yeah, she is. Why? Tell her that Deku says hi and he's sorry. As he's just, like, sitting on the ground. That kid knocked me good. As he's feeling around his jaw. Oh, I haven't been hit that hard. Haven't been hit that hard, except when I tanked a rocket straight to my chest. It's like, you got very injured by that, and you were like in the hospital. It's like, yeah, I can take bullets and such, but not an RPG. Oh, kid hurts really bad. As Deku makes it out of there, Tremor securing the money and such. It's like, oh. Tremor's like, Deku asks Tremor, so what do we do now? Well, the job's done. As he hands Deku his pay of the cut. See you later, Deku. See you later, Tremor. Or Scorpion is what Deku, is what Tremor calls him. And now it's 4 months in. Well, 4.5 weeks. 4 months and 2 weeks in. So now he's going to do the tournament as he approaches the secret hideout. As he gets there, several guards come out. It's like, where's your invitation? As he brings it up, he like shows it. He's like, ah. As they put their guns down. Alright, Gobo. As they all retreat to the shadows. With Deku getting into the area. It's a wide area with like a dozen or so people. As Deku walks down the stairs. As he approaches, several of them are looking at him. There's even Johnny Cage there. Johnny Cage is like, this place is so not my style. But hey, I got invited, might as well come. Deku's standing off to his side, just looking over the area. They have Cabal. They have Cabal, a man, Goro, Baraka. What's that guy's name? Goro, Baraka. Well, Goro's on the island. You have Deku, Tundra, who's come at this point because, well, he was invited as well, hearing that Shang Tsung, knowing that Tundra was the brother of Sub-Zero, saying, "Scorpion has entered my tournament. I would like to offer you an invitation." As he's looking at it, he's like, He's like, "I will come." It's like, "Good. Be here by this date, and come alone." As he then leaves. Deku noticing Tundra, and Tundra noticing him. Deku with his back to the wall, ensuring nothing's gonna take the drop on him. Baraka is a Tarkatan, and what they have is that they have blades that come out of their arm, and razor-sharp teeth that line their entire mouth. They don't have lips, it's just like an entire row of teeth like a shark. As they continue that and such, there's Baraka, Deku, Tundra, Johnny Cage, Cabal, there we go, forgot his name for a second. They have several other people there. So as they all, like, are just waiting around, they even have a guy known as Liu Kang, but Deku just sees him. Liu Kang is a warrior, like a very famous martial artist. And Kung Lao as well, who uses his hat as a weapon. Like, it has a blade running around the entire hat. It's very weird. And he has air manipulation to some degree, where he can, like, use, like, with his hat, he, like, uses the air to, like, make it either go harder, like, hit harder, like, slice through such, etc. As they're all just waiting around. Tundra approaching Deku, sort of giving him a bow. Deku reciprocating this bow. Tundra. It has been a while. It is indeed Scorpion. As several of them are looking onto this. Johnny Cage at one point was like, "What the heck is a murderer doing here?" One of the people, Shang Tsung, explained, "We invite all the best warriors. Scorpion has proven himself very capable. Let's see how you do against him." As they're all just standing there, waiting. As Shang Tsung then announces, after finishing his talk with Johnny Cage, that the boat has arrived and that they will be journeying there immediately. As they are all there, and it takes like a week or two to get there. As they arrive there, it's like, "Welcome to my island. Please, these people will show you your way to your quarters." As Deku follows them. Follows the ones who have been sent to escort him. As he sees his room and is just waiting. Asking them questions like, "When will the match start?" and such. They just saying to be here at this point and they will announce it. As then they get to the tournament. Everything looks very traditional. There's like stands and such. It's not like the King and Ashura ones, where it's like a big stadium. It's just like a little cage match and such, where they are put in a ring and they fight there. First one being Goro versus like some nameless guy. As Goro immediately rips this man apart, saying, "Fatality." Goro, victor of the first match. Liu Kang then goes on to fight other people. And go on and on. With Deku, where Deku is like one of the first matches. So it goes Goro. Like it goes right to left, so they start one like on the right side, then left side, right side, then left side, right side, then left side. With it's Liu Kang versus some nameless versus Baraka. As he then goes to fight Baraka. With his blades, as Deku goes to fight Baraka. With Baraka's blades, he is a difficult fight. with how he slices and such, and even tries to bite Liu Kang at one point. Liu Kang breaking his like little bone things and knocking him out of the ring with a KO. And it's like, do you wish to perform a fatality? Liu Kang deciding no. Then it goes over to the other thing. Goro versus some nameless goon. Versus some nameless guy. As he goes on to fight. And tears this guy limb from limb. Then it goes to Deku versus Kung Lao. Kung Lao saying, don't be surprised when I beat you. Deku just staying silent, pulling out his weapon. As Kung Lao throws his hat, Deku easily deflecting it, throwing his rope spear, catching Kung Lao and bringing him forward and punching him right in the face. As Kung Lao gets back up, then uses his skills in martial arts to try and beat up Deku. He's doing quite well, but Deku's defenses are a lot higher, as he then dismantles Kung Lao. When Kung Lao again throws his hat, Deku literally catches it and just like, not breaks it, but it just like throws it back at him, like Captain America's shield. As Kung Lao barely catches it, Deku rushes forward, jumps up, and like sort of jump kicks him, or a flying kick. As Kung Lao is then brought down, as he's like about to get back up, Deku brings out his sword and brings it to his neck. Kung Lao going like, I yield. With that being done, now it goes to Sector versus Tundra. Tundra questioning Sector, why is he here? Sector pretty much saying, oh well. Sector saying, my intent is not for you to know, Tundra. All you need to know is you'll die. As then he comes rushing in, using his micro rockets and flamethrowers, trying to outmatch Tundra. But with Tundra doing a lot of extra training, and like boosting himself like a lot, he is managing to like freeze Sector and causing his components and such just become as cold as ice and brittle. So when he freezes like one of his arms, he breaks it off. As then he kicks Sector's head, causing it to fly off, being detachable, as his body is just left there. He's trying to reactivate it, but Tundra has frozen it solid, saying, do you yield? Sector saying, yes. As then the Cyberlink Way come retrieving his head and body. Next match will be a few more nameless people going against each other. Johnny Cage versus Reptile. Fighting Reptile very successfully, as he beats him down. Reptile trying to use his acid spit camouflage, but Johnny Cage is a trained martial artist as well, with Reptile being more feral, with like slashes and such. And Johnny Cage has a move called Green Energy, where he can charge up a green energy and throw it or empower himself with it. Very similar to One for All, but not to the same extent. After using these abilities, he takes down Reptile. Then there's, what's the name? I'm trying to remember the name of the character. Cabal. Cabal then 1v1s. Same guy. Like, 1v1s another nameless dude. Just with his... He is very fast. And he also has hook swords, as he tears apart another dude. As that is done, now it's Johnny Cage versus Cabal, Tundra versus Scorpion, and Goro versus Liu Kang. It's a very small tournament. Just take in mind that this happens over the span of weeks. I'm just giving you what happens between the fights. As they all that is all for today, folks. As it finally, with Cabal defeating his person there. And such. So, as they take a break and just rest for a bit, Tundra and Deku speak, sort of talking with one another. Before anything else, Deku walks over to Johnny Cage, handing him a piece of paper and a pen. It's like, so you like my movies? It's like, no need for a piece of paper, as he pulls out a picture of himself and signs it as Deku takes it, looking at it and going like, As he walks away, it's like, can't believe a serial killer really liked my movies. All walks of life, I guess. As he goes back to training, or just lounging around. Deku going to train himself. Being approached by Shang Tsung. No, not Shang Tsung, but being approached by a company, saying that they will be willing to not sponsor him, but they were wondering if he wouldn't mind them betting on him, saying that they will give him a portion of their winnings if he wins. He's thinking about this, how much of a portion. They're saying 10%. Deku sort of agreeing to this, them shaking on it, as they get done and leave. Now with Tundra at the moment, he's calming down. He's focusing and channeling his ice, blasting it everywhere. Not everywhere, but blasting it, being precise about it. Creating ice knives and such. Ice swords, ice hammers, ice bursts, practicing all his moves. With Deku doing very much the same thing. Johnny Cage is being Johnny Cage. Cabal is racing around and practicing with his swords. Liu Kang talking with Kung Lao, saying how Scorpion beat him down. Even at one point when Scorpion Deku walks past them. Kung Lao getting agitated and Liu Kang asking for a sparring match. After Kung Lao tries to do something that he probably would have regretted. Deku looking at Liu Kang we will fight if we fight, it will happen. That's all. Come on, man. Might be fun. Also, there's a competitor here who you may like. Rampa. Let's say that, because it would be awkward, because there's 3 people left from the brackets. I'll say there's 4. It'll be whoever wins, Johnny Cage and Rampa. Goro and Liu Kang, Deku and Scorpion, Johnny Cage and Cabal, and Rampa and what's that name? What's the name? I'm so difficult to remember names from some of these characters. Versus Ermac. Ermac has, telekinesis and such, very similar to Shang Tsung. As Ermac and Rampa are, up next. With Rampa, being all, excited, saying, yeah, let's do this! Yeah! Very interested in fighting Ermac. As Ermac tries to blast him with his green energy, Rampa just, tanking this and just throwing his flurry of punches, as he typically would. Almost, pretty much overpowering Ermac in pure strength alone, for Ermac being reliant on his sorcery and such. For him trying to, blast him and punch him similar to how Deku would by charging green energy. Rampa just brushing these aside and beating Ermac down. As it's finish him! Rampa, sort of punching him so hard that he flies up into the stadium and is lodged into a brick wall. Several of them, going around placing their bets. Some are placing their bets on Rampa. Some are placing their bets on Liu Kang. A lot of them are placing their bets on Goro, though. Few companies here and there are placing bets on Tundra, Scorpion, and Johnny Cage. It's a mixed bag. Deku then time to fight. Well, it's Liu Kang versus Goro now. It's like, on your mark, get set, fight. As they go on to fight. Liu Kang is doing very well against Goro. With his fire punches, he's able to keep up with Goro, blasting him and using the fire to blast himself off, just in case he needs to get out of the way. As in, seems Liu Kang is using his martial karate, I believe that's what he practices, karate, to slightly and just slowly chip away at Goro, with Goro using his massive build and his forearms to try and block Liu Kang and trying to break his bones. With Goro breaking several Liu Kangs at one point, where he throws his right two arms at once, crashing right into his Liu Kang's left side, breaking his entire arm as he's flung away, crashing aside. As Goro rushes in to finish the job, Liu Kang sees his leg, uses his karate, spins around, pretty much roundhouse kicks his leg as it breaks under Liu Kang's force. Goro crashing and rolling around as he's my legs, as he comes rushing in, throwing his punches and such, being very effective at it, almost overwhelming Johnny Cage when he gets picked up and is almost crushed by him, as he does one last desperate attempt, bringing his hand out and pretty much breaking Goro's neck as he falls down unconscious, with him being in bad shape as he collapses as well. As Kung Lao comes and helps not Liu Cage, but Liu Kang, with several others coming over and helping Goro being defeated. The next fight is Sub-Zero versus Scorpion. As Scorpion and him size each other up, Deku saying, not saying anything, just standing there with Sub-Zero pretty much doing the same thing. Them just standing there, not saying anything, just waiting for this whole go. When that go is sounded, they start fighting. Sub-Zero brings out his ice swords and Deku uses his swords imbued with fire, and just starts breaking through Sub-Zero's ice fortifications. Give me a second. As they just continue to fight and fight like there's no tomorrow. Both of them canceling each other out on several occasions. Deku throwing fireball, Tundra throwing ice balls. It's just a constant back and forth, as the arena is starting to heat up and such. As Deku starts cranking up his heat, hotter and hotter, with Tundra making his ice go colder and colder. Eventually where it's just blue ice versus hell flame, as some of them saying it's compared to Endeavor, where he's melting the sand around them and such where they are is turning to glass. As they're stepping on it, it just hears a crunch of glass breaking. It's an amazing fight, where Deku eventually is able, just barely throws his rope spear, brings him in, and just uppercuts him with a fire punch, sending him over a dozen feet away, as he crashes down, unconscious. As he raises up his fist in victory, he is battered and bloodied. It is surprising that he is even standing at this moment, with Tundra being in even worse shape, with severe burns and such, with Deku having frostbite and such, where he's been frozen in several places. He was frozen in the arm, frozen on his leg. I'm gonna have to get that taken care of, as they both go to the infirmary. The next fight is now, and this is another few days later, is before the semi-finals. It's now Cabal versus Luke Cage, with Cabal trying to use his speed and such to his advantage, getting the upper hand on Luke Cage, with him using his swords and such to try and slice into him. Thankfully, though, Johnny Cage has been acting in several movies that involve hook swords, coincidentally, saying, yeah, I use these in my new Ninja Mime movie, you should all see it, as he instantly, just manages to, find a way. After he tries to hook him, he ends up kicking Cabal, doing his glow kick, as he, back and forth, then kick comes straight forward with his green energy, blasting him away, with him taking one of Cabal's swords. As he's like, yeah, I remember these, as he swings him around a bit. As he waits, with Cabal coming in with his hook sword, trying to grab onto it. As they interlock the swords and such, which is how they're supposed to be, he yanks it back and pretty much brings it on Cabal and sweeping his legs. Pretty much, and as he comes forward, he drop kicks him what? Getting him right in the face. As Cabal is eliminated. Now the final matchups are Luke Cage versus Rampa, and Liu Kang versus Scorpion. Let's see how this turns out. That'll be the end of that. This is a short video, and I hope y'all have a nice day, nice night, nice life.